There's a hidden mechanism running inside your brain right now, making decisions without your permission. It's why some people transform their entire lives, while others stay locked in patterns they hate. And the wildest part, most people never discover it's there until someone shows them. What if your brain is sabotaging your success? Let's talk about something uncomfortable. You know those people who seem stuck? Same complaints year after year, same job they hate, same relationships that drain them, same excuses about why things never change. You've probably wondered what's wrong with them. Here's what nobody wants to admit. They're not lazy. They're not stupid. They're not even unmotivated. What's actually happening is way more fascinating and way more disturbing. Their brain has become their biggest enemy, and chances are, yours is doing the exact same thing. See, your mind has this incredible ability to keep you safe. That's literally its main job, survival. But here's where it gets twisted. Your brain can't tell the difference between physical danger and emotional discomfort. To your nervous system, trying something new feels exactly like facing a threat. So it does what it's designed to do. It stops you. Not with some dramatic intervention. It's way more subtle than that. It whispers things like, maybe tomorrow. You're not ready yet. What if you fail? These aren't random thoughts. They're carefully constructed barriers designed to keep you exactly where you are. Because where you are is familiar. And familiar equals safe. Even when it's slowly killing you. Research shows that individuals often develop fixed mindsets from repeated failures or criticism during childhood, leading them to believe their abilities can't change. This belief becomes their identity. And when your identity is, I'm not the type of person who does that, you've just locked yourself in a cage made of thoughts. But here's where it gets really interesting. The people who actually evolve, they're not special. They don't have some superhuman willpower gene. What they have is something completely different. They learn to recognize when their brain is lying to them. Every time you're about to do something meaningful, your mind will flood you with reasons to stop. It'll manufacture anxiety, create urgent distractions, suddenly remind you of 17 other things you should be doing first. This isn't a bug in your system. It's a feature that's keeping you small. Only nobody ever explained this to you. So you think those thoughts are true. You think that anxiety means you shouldn't do it. You think those doubts are valid warnings. But what if they're not? What if they're just your brain trying to protect you from the discomfort of growth? The trap most people fall into is believing personal growth happens through massive, dramatic changes. They wait for motivation, for inspiration, for the right moment. But motivation is just a feeling, and feelings are temporary. Research indicates procrastination, a common form of self-sabotage, affects approximately 20% of adults. That's millions of people waiting for a feeling that might never come. What thought shows up most often when you're about to try something that matters? How fear disguises itself as logic. Let me show you how sophisticated your self-sabotage really is. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't wave a red flag saying, hey, I'm sabotaging you right now. Instead, it disguises itself as rational thinking, as common sense, as responsible decision-making. You want to change careers? Your brain says, but you need to pay bills. You want to start that project? Better do more research first. Want to have a difficult conversation? Not the right time. Every single one of these sounds logical, sounds responsible, but they're traps. The genius of self-sabotage is that it uses your intelligence against you. Smart people are actually more vulnerable to this because they can rationalize anything. They can build elaborate, logical arguments for why they should stay stuck. And those arguments sound so convincing that even they believe them. Think about it. How many times have you talked yourself out of something you really wanted to do? How many opportunities have you watched slip away while you were getting ready? How many times have you said, next year, and then next year came, and you said it again? This is the pattern. You get a spark of possibility. Maybe you could do that thing. Maybe you could become that person. Maybe you could create that life. And for a brief moment, you believe it. You feel excited. You feel alive. Then your brain kicks in with the counter-arguments. And because they sound so reasonable, you listen. But let's get real about what's actually happening underneath all that logic. It's not wisdom. It's fear. Fear of failing, fear of succeeding, fear of being judged, fear of responsibility, fear of discovering you're capable of more than you've been doing. That last one terrifies people the most. Because if you discover you've always been capable, then you have to admit you chose not to act. You can't blame circumstances anymore. You can't hide behind, "I couldn't." The truth becomes, "I didn't." And that requires taking ownership of years, maybe decades, of decisions. Most people would rather stay stuck than face that realization. So they keep the game going. They keep coming up with reasons why they can't, shouldn't, won't. And their life stays the same. While they watch other people no smarter or more talented than them, actually do the things they only talk about. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It doesn't require you to become fearless. That's impossible. Fear is hardwired into your biology. What it requires is learning to act while afraid, to feel the fear, recognize it for what it is, and do the thing anyway. The people who break free aren't the ones without fear. They're the ones who stopped letting fear make their decisions. They feel it, acknowledge it, maybe even talk to it like, "Yeah, oh, you're here, but we're doing this anyway." That's the difference. Not the absence of fear, but the refusal to be controlled by it. What fear have you been disguising as logic or common sense? How to recognize you're programming yourself to fail. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Most self-sabotage isn't dramatic. It's not some big destructive behavior you can point to and say, "There's the problem." It's tiny. It's incremental. It's 1,000 small choices that seem harmless in the moment, but compound into a life you don't want. It's hitting snooze instead of getting up when you said you would. It's scrolling for just 5 minutes that turns into an hour. It's saying, "I'll start Monday" every single Sunday. Each one seems insignificant, but they're not. They're votes. Every small choice is a vote for who you're becoming. And here's the brutal truth. Most people are voting against themselves all day long. They're making choice after choice that moves them further from their goals while wondering why they never get there. The disconnect is staggering. They genuinely don't see the connection between their daily actions and their life outcomes. This is where self-awareness becomes everything. Not the Instagram version of self-awareness where you post quotes about growth. Real self-awareness. The kind where you catch yourself mid-excuse and go, "Wait, I'm doing it again." The kind where you notice the pattern before it completes itself. People who actually transform develop this internal observer, a part of them that watches their own thoughts and behaviors without judgment, just awareness. "Oh, I'm procrastinating again. Interesting. What am I avoiding?" Not beating themselves up about it, just noticing. That simple act of noticing disrupts the automatic pattern. Because that's what these patterns are: automatic. They're neural pathways that have been reinforced so many times they happen without conscious thought. Your brain is essentially running a program, and that program is keeping you exactly where you are, because that's what programs do. They maintain consistency. The only way to change the program is to interrupt it repeatedly. Every time you notice yourself falling into the pattern and choose something different, even something tiny, you're literally rewiring your brain. Developing mastery in priority domains builds self-confidence to achieve goals by attributing poor performance to controllable factors. But here's what makes this challenging. Your brain will fight the interruption hard, because changing the program feels threatening to the part of you that craves predictability. It'll create discomfort, anxiety, even physical sensations, to get you back on track with the old pattern. This is why most people quit. They try to change, it feels awful, and they assume that awful feeling means they're doing something wrong. But they're not. That awful feeling means they're doing something different. And different always feels uncomfortable at first. Always. The people who make it through understand this. They expect the discomfort. They prepare for it. They know their brain is going to throw every trick in the book at them. And instead of being surprised or discouraged, they recognize it as a sign they're on the right path. Notice, what automatic pattern do you keep running that's no longer serving you? If this is hitting different, drop a like. It helps this reach people who need to hear it. What actually works to break the cycle? Alright, let's get practical. You understand the problem now. Your brain is working against you. Patterns are running on autopilot. Fear is masquerading as logic. Great. So what do you actually do about it? First thing, stop trying to overhaul your entire life. That's self-sabotage. Wearing a productivity mask every time someone decides they're going to wake up at a.m., meditate, work out, meal prep, journal, and completely transform themselves starting Monday, they're setting themselves up to fail, and their brain knows it. Real change doesn't work like that. Real change is almost embarrassingly small. It's so small that your conscious mind thinks, this won't make any difference. But that's exactly why it works. It's small enough to bypass your brain's threat detection system. Want to work out? Don't commit to going to the gym 5 days a week. Commit to putting on workout clothes. That's it. No workout required. Just put on the clothes. Sounds ridiculous, right? But here's what happens. Once the clothes are on, the barrier to actually working out drops dramatically. You've already started. Might as well keep going. This is called lowering activation energy. It's about making the first step so easy that you can't talk yourself out of it. Because the hardest part of any task isn't the task itself. It's starting. Once you're in motion, momentum takes over. But you have to engineer that first motion to be completely frictionless. Second thing, expect resistance and plan for it. Your brain is going to resist change. Guaranteed. So instead of being surprised when it happens, build strategies around it. When that voice says, not today, you already have a response prepared. Something like, I do it especially on days I don't want to. Third thing, and this is crucial, separate identity from action. Most people think they have to become a different person before they can take different actions. That's backward. You become a different person by taking different actions. Identity follows behavior, not the other way around. You don't need to feel motivated. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel ready. Those feelings come after action, not before. This is probably the biggest misconception about personal growth. People wait to feel like the person who would do the thing before doing the thing. But that's not how it works. You do the thing first, even when it feels fake, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when you don't believe in yourself. And then, after doing it enough times, you look back and realize you've become someone different. The confidence came from the action, not the other way around. Here's what this looks like in practice. You want to be a writer? You write, even when it's terrible, even when you hate every word. You show up and put words on a page. You do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and eventually, you stop asking, am I a writer? Because you're too busy writing. The path forward isn't complex. It's just uncomfortable. Choose one thing. Make it small. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Keep doing it until it becomes automatic. Then add another thing. That's it. That's the whole strategy. It's not sexy. It won't make a good transformation post. But it works. And when you inevitably miss a day, because you will, you don't spiral into self-judgment. You just start again the next day. No drama. No guilt. No, ruined everything. Just quiet, consistent action. That's how you reprogram yourself. Start. What's the smallest possible action you could take today that moves you forward? If you made it this far, hit that like button. And if something here clicked for you, share it. Someone in your life probably needs to hear this exact message right now. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. This is where the real work begins. Disclaimer. This content is for informational and educational purposes regarding self-awareness and personal development. It does not replace professional, psychological, or therapeutic guidance.